So, hi, my name is Cheyenne. I'm going to tell you a little about my favorite dead thing. Let me start my screen sharing so we can just dive into this presentation. So, my favorite dead thing, and before I tell you exactly what it is, I want to tell you a little bit about this dead thing. So, it used mode 2 tools, which basically means that they are large bifacial cutting tools, and they're made from flakes and cores. Basically, different flakes are removed from the side of a stone to create just like a bifacial stone, kind of like what you think of when you see an axe. So they had hand axes, cleavers, and carvers. Over time, um, things like antler, wood, and bone were incorporated in, and this left with scrapers, hammers, wooden throwing spears. There's also evidence to show that they fire hardened their tools. So they would like put them over a fire or heat them up really hot and then cool them down very fast to have harder, more durable tools. There's also evidence to show they may have been the first fishermen, meaning that they were the first to accurately create something to fish with. Their tools that they used were for hunting and butchering animals. However, they could have also been the ones that we've all heard of humans pushing animals off the cliff. Well, there's a thought that this species was actually the ones that would run animals to the edge of a cliff or to the end of a cannon and corner them to kill them. There's also evidence that they used fire, as in with hardening their tools. It's not 100% known if it was fully controlled fire, but in several sites there are hearths. So that's kind of cool. It's shown that they have rock and cave shelters. However, at Terra Armata, which is in France, it looks like the species returned annually to fish. They would rebuild their homes there every year, um, and might have even been up to 11 times that they came here. So then funeral remains in Germany, there is an area where several different individuals are buried together, and they're in the pit of bones, and there is a pink quartz hand axe there, which is kind of cool. So it's thought that there was like important things buried with them, as well as them being secluded and taking away from everyone else. It was a way to stop their bodies from being scavenged by other animals. So now we move on, and I'm going to ask, what do you think this is? Because these all sound like things of humans, like what we learn about hunter-gatherers and stuff like that. Well, it is Homo heidelbergensis, which in a way is a very early human. Um, Homo heidelbergensis could have been the very, not necessarily the very first human, because humans go back a little bit farther than Homo heidelbergensis. If you look at the true definition by an anthropologist, which is a group of people living together to form a culture and have anatomically similar bone structure to us today. So like I said, early species of human. So now let's take a look. The species was bipedal. They were about 150 centimeters in height for the males, at least, which brings them to about 5'9". So a little bit shorter than us, because the females were about 5'2", but that's kind of common for modern humans. Their brain size was about 1,250 cubic centimeters, which is only about 150 cubic centimeters smaller than Homo sapiens, that average about 1,400 centimeters. So a little bit difference here. You can see they have that sloping forehead as to where ours is kind of vertical. However, they do have a suborbital torus. We don't necessarily have a suborbital torus. We do have a little bit of a brow ridge. Theirs is more pronounced. But they also have an occipital bun for more room for their brain back here in the back, which we do have. Ours is just not as large. Their brain size went this way as to where ours just kind of more around in this area. Their teeth are smaller than older species, but they are a little bit bigger than ours. Um, but they some individuals also had the rheumatoid spaces behind their wisdom teeth as other ones did, and so that's just kind of a transitional thing. We don't have a lot of room back here. We don't really have that rheumatoid molar space for our wisdom teeth to grow in. And then their jaw indicated that they use their teeth as a tool. So their fossils and distribution, I just kind of included where we can find their tools or where we found them, a little bit of what we found with them, just so we can see how they related, and then kind of where they spread out. So France, Germany, Italy, Spain, and China is a lot of like larger, where we found a lot more concentration of these fossils. So why is Homo heidelbergensis so important? They are the common ancestors of Neanderthals and anatomically modern humans. With that being said, so the European population evolved into Neanderthals about 300,000 years ago, and the African population is what evolved into Homo sapiens and then eventually spread out like we humans have said to have done, which we even learned in this class, and that happened about 2 to 1,000 years ago, or 200 to 1,000 years ago. So this all started, so they began to evolve in the Holocene about 600 years ago, and they began to disappear. And not the Holocene. What am I thinking? I don't know why I put that on there. That is not correct. That would be the Pleistocene. I am so sorry. They began to evolve about 600 years ago in the Pleistocene. And then they started to disappear about 100,000 years ago, or that's when we can't really find any more fossils. So they could have been the first to have a written language. They show a transitional timeline through the fossil record. Their tools that they had present and the fossils that they have present allows us to reconstruct the way that this species lived. So through geological evidence, we are able to conduct how this species lived to show where we modern day humans came from, and they gave a foundation for where we are today. My goals for this project have been to kind of explain who Homo heidelbergensis was and why they are important. My objective was not necessarily to convince you that we did come from this species or that humans evolved, but to give it as an option and a theory. Constraints here are not everyone believes in evolution, so it's just a theory. It's something that cannot be 100% proven, so it's kind of hard to even find evidence on this species. This has been really fun. I super enjoyed this project. I am an anthropologist. I graduated with a degree this year. So this is one species that I would like to look into further. I am not exactly sure where this research will take me, but I can say I want to dive further into what humans come from, what make them different, what makes them similar to anatomically modern humans, how long ago did modern humans actually exist. These are things that are important to me. Thank you for watching my presentation. And now I'm going to stop my screen so I can stop this video.